Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Haley, and I have another subscriber email question. This one coming from Esther, and it says, I have a couple of conditions. One of them is SIBO that I'm trying to recover from. That's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I wanted to double check with you to see if you thought it was okay to be taking the aloe vera juice or gel with SIBO. I also have Candida and mold, but I believe I read somewhere about being cautious with SIBO and aloe. My gut is a wreck, and I'm desperate to find something to help. Just wondering if you have any opinion or experience with your product and SIBO. I have a few thoughts about this. Recently, I did a podcast with Siobhan Sarna from SIBOSOS.com. And she is an author, has written, a book and had an internet program and just a lot of great content. She is an expert when it comes to SIBO. One of the things she talked about was diagnosing SIBO, because some people are just given the diagnosis apart from, say, the breath tests, which would help determine what pathogens might be contributing to the overgrowth. And based on the breath test, you would know how to treat that medically to beat down the counts. She also had some interesting thoughts that most SIBO was caused by a food poisoning at some point, which I believe was her case, and then, many years later still struggling with it. So, at any rate, at some point things get out of balance and there's this overgrowth. My thoughts about it. First, we'll address the aloe vera question. I don't think it's founded in science, but in theory, that certain foods would feed the overgrowth. And aloe vera is lumped in with mucopolysaccharides and some other superfoods, I'll say, that contain mucopolysaccharides. What makes aloe vera different is the sugar molecule mannose, which seems to process very differently than, other things like glucose and fructose and lactose and all these other simple sugars that we're aware of. So if you consider that, see, mannose, in diabetics taking it actually lowers their blood sugar levels. Cancer cells seem to bind it but not be able to consume it, which kind of starves them in a sense. It is a different, it's not bacteriostatic, meaning that bacteria won't grow in them. So that means they can actually consume the aloe and grow from it, but it seems to be, slower consuming than most other foods. So from that perspective, I would think that aloe vera would not feed the overgrowth. I have read things on the internet where people mention aloe vera with some other things. There's no science to support that. What I would probably do if I wasn't getting medical treatment, I would probably try the aloe vera and see if it helped. Now, I'd probably do some other things as well as we think about what SIBO is and, how you would theoretically get well from it. For instance, if there is an overgrowth, there are natural things that can be consumed with it that might help beat down the bacterial overload, such as silver may. Again, there's not a whole lot of science on this area. There are antibiotics that medically, based on the breath test, this antibiotic or this combination or this particular one only works in the small intestine because of the environment there, and it needs that environment for it to work. So, there is a medical plan to beat that down. But I might choose a more natural. There's also herbs that will help that are, antibacterial. There's also a motility issue. For instance, slow digestion, when the transit time is too long, that kind of gives the bacteria more time to overgrow. So improving the transit time, and there are supplements that are prokinetics. There's also medications that are prokinetics. So in the medical approach, you might have antibiotics and prokinetics. So that you can mimic naturally the medical route. The experts would mostly agree that you're going to have limited success doing it naturally and that the medical approach is appropriate. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's a scientific explanation or based on their clinical experience or what the case is. I don't know if anyone's ever really took a sound, natural approach, addressing all the same things that they would address in a medical approach. So those are my thoughts when it comes to SIBO and aloe vera. I don't want to disagree with Siobhan Sarna. She knows more about SIBO than I do. Yet at the same time, I've always looked at things and said, okay, what's the issue? Getting rid of the cause is the number one way to get well, regardless of the condition. Because if you don't get rid of the cause, it just keeps on coming back. And sometimes getting rid of the cause is enough to fix the problem, and the problem goes away. So I want to identify what caused it, and have I gotten that out of my life? And, you know, am I creating the best environment for my body to work as good as it can? You know, a nice clean diet with the nutritional support that it needs. Am I getting enough rest, and am I getting all the proper exercises? You know, when it comes to exercise, things like yoga and decompressing the spine and increasing intestinal motility and decreasing your transit time, all of those things can, you know, help your SIBO. Maybe, maybe not, right? So I'm always thinking naturally, what is my body missing? Nutrition, exercise, rest, my thought processes. You know how connected thoughts are to digestion, and how stress and tension can interfere with those processes. And, you know, relaxation and the parasympathetic system helping increase digestion and improve it. Do I need more of a probiotic diet? You know, where I'm nurturing the good intestinal flora? Am I chewing my food properly, and, you know, and working in the digestive enzymes and consuming high enzyme-rich foods? You know, so we kind of step back. Do I drink enough water? Do I have fiber? And kind of look at that. And people, again, might say, oh, well, fiber feeds the bacteria. You're going to increase the overgrowth. I've always looked at things and said, if I get back to the natural, remove the cause and get back to the natural, will that do it? And I would probably try those things, and if it didn't work, then I'd probably, you know, get some breath tests and make sure I can confirm a diagnosis and might attempt a medical approach. So that's just me. I'm not saying it's right. From what I have heard from people, aloe vera has, you know, helped a lot of people with their digestive issues. I've heard some people said it did nothing for them. So who knows? I hope that is helpful. Check out SIBOSOS.com and, you know, Siobhan Sarna's work. She's dedicated years to this and just has created a lot of content, has a wealth of knowledge. Look in the bottom below this video for a link to my discussion with her to hear from the SIBO expert herself. All right, I'm Dr. Haley. Thanks for checking out this video. And Esther, I hope you found that helpful. Oh, Esther, by the way, let's talk about a few other things in your questions really quick. You mentioned Candida and mold. When it comes to Candida, you know, Candida is usually occurring in more than one place in the body. I've heard people suggest that it's actually there to help clean your body from heavy metal toxicity. Well, if that's the case, then killing it isn't the solution, but stopping the toxicity from heavy metals makes more sense. Again, going back to the what is causing it, and get rid of the cause, and then things should work better. When it comes to mold, that's one that I don't think anyone really has a handle on. Meaning, is the mold still in you, or is it the toxins from the mold that is still in you, and maybe you need a good detox program? I do know that a lot of healthcare professionals that treat people with mold issues do recommend aloe vera for them. I don't know why. I don't know if it's to help the immune system heal the gut, repair damage that maybe was gotten from, you know, medical treatments like antibiotics. I don't really know why they recommend aloe vera. I know that they do, but I think that's a difficult area, and there's, again, doctors that really focus on that. I don't know of anyone that gets, you know, fast, amazing results. I would check my environment, make sure I'm not living in mold, and make sure that wasn't the real problem, that that continuous, maybe you can't ever get well and there's no doctor cure because you're still exposed to it and you just don't know it. So those are my thoughts on that. Mold sucks. All right, thanks for checking this out.